Hello, Shouryuv.
Hello. Hi.
Welcome to Film Companion South.
Thank you.
Really excited to have you. Let's get, to prep for this interview, I started doing some intensive research on you, by which I've been stalking your Instagram profile.
How are you?
And I have many questions. Okay. I have many questions for you. But the most important question would be, Meeru Kick Buttowski fan?
Chala pedda fan andi. Huge fan of Kick Buttowski. The way it's dubbed in Telugu, Chiranjeevi garu, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's any time. Eppudanna koncham mood down unna edunna, not just me and my whole team also. You just go watch Kick Buttowski. And even on Insta, we keep sharing the reels. I keep following the pages as well. And Chiranjeevi garu ikkada Telugulo. Even at times I watch, like, you know, how they did this in Tamil, Rajinikanth gar voice. And in Hindi, how it is Shah Rukh Khan's. It's brilliant. The way they adapted, the way they wrote it. At one point, I even tried to get the writer. I wanted to, like, you know who did the writing for Kick Buttowski, Telugu. Yavara dialogues anudincharu ani cheppi, but no luck.
Okay.
No luck. We tried, but yeah, huge fan of Kick Buttowski.
Great. And now, talking about movies and the reason why we have gathered here, Shouryuv, you tell me, what's your story? How did you arrive where you are, like literally and figuratively?
Okay, so I'm basically from Vizag. So born and brought up akkade. Amma Nanna gardi akkade. I have a brother and a sister, younger to me. So cinema lante ippudu, even from when I was studying my sixth is when I think I wrote my first story.
Oh wow!
I've written a story. I'll bond the balada pakkan bettandi. So that fascination is always there. Like, you know, fascination for comics, fascination for stories, cinema, everything. So somewhere, like, you know, I completed. For seventh is exactly when I decided I want to become a director.
Sixth lo first story and seventh.
Seventh anukuna. When naluguru friends chepte, they said it's good. So I thought, okay, fine.
You remember the story?
I do, actually.
What was it about?
I do. I can't tell you now.
Okay.
Because I found it trivial when I was in my 10th and +1, +2.
Okay.
Then later I thought it's an interesting concept. Maybe I can develop something out of it. So that's what.
So is that idea still on?
Yes, the idea is still on. Yeah, somewhere, like, you know, a very small remnant of it is still on. Okay. That's all I can say.
Okay.
So that's how. So I started. So I asked my mom, "Amma adiga ila direction idi ani cheppi." So then she said, "Emo idu raanistado raanichado cinema lante it's a different world again." So I wanted to, after my 10th is done, I want to go join in Pune Institute of
FTI.
Film. Yeah, I wanted to, but no. They said, like, you know, my mom asked me to do medicine. If at all I succeed in medicine, she said, I'll send you. So I completed my medicine.
Okay.
And yeah, I came into movies. So that's how it started.
And then we చాలా simplify చేశారు, but let me dig more into it. What were some of your ఇప్పుడు everybody, they have these few life-defining films. Life-defining might be a dramatic term, but some films that you know create this fascination towards the medium, right? For instance, for me, నాకు పోక్రీ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ చేంజ్ మై లైఫ్ అని నేను అందరికీ చెప్తుంటాను అనమాట. ఆ ట్విస్ట్ అదంతా, ఇట్ వాస్ ఫ్యాసినేటెడ్ విత్ యూనో ద మాస్ సినిమా అండ్ ఆల్. వాట్ వర్ సమ్ ఫిల్మ్స్ లైక్ దాట్ ఫర్ యూ?
See, I'll not stick to one film. I'll tell you how it is. I'll tell you how it is. It's never about one movie for me. So whenever I watch a cinema, it's like I'm living a life. It's my, like, you know, it's my escape. From a kid, like, you know, paata cinemalu, Telugu paata cinemalu దగ్గర నుంచి తర్వాత again the 80s, 90s till now, it's always been like that. When you enter the theater, I feel like, wow, okay, I'm somewhere, like, you know, in a real world present. So it's always like my space. Whenever I watch a movie, I get into it. So that's how I even learned so much. Cinema చూసి నేర్చుకున్నా చాలా వరకు. It's not like I'm not a very extrovert person. I'm very introvert.
Okay.
So cinema is always, like, you know, it taught me about places. It taught me about, like, you know, behavior. It taught me about what happens, crime, everything. So I've learned a lot from cinema. So I thought maybe, like, you know, now I should tell my own cinema. I should make my own cinema, and here I am. So it's not about one movie. Many such movies, for example, like, you know, starting from, like I told you, I love a lot of anime. I like Shawshank Redemption. I like, you know, Shankar Gar Gentleman Ishtam. Ante akkadi nunchi, like, I've been, like, you know, I even love the stardom, like, what the fanatics. At one point of my life, I was, like, you know, a huge fan of stars. Like, you know, I like the vibe of cinema. And somewhere like, that led me to whatever the interests I have. And finally I thought maybe I want to become a director. This is what my life goal is. And I can't define one movie.
Yeah,
And
but
there are so many movies.
general
Filmmakers. Even
want-
Pokri Mirannattu. Yeah, it was like, it's about the experience. No, you want to sit in that theater and you want to experience it. So yeah, that's it. I take away something or the other from every movie I watch, good or bad, whatever it is.
Okay, going into the more of that film school phase, you didn't go to film school.
No, I did not.
So how does one learn filmmaking, Shouryuv?
Okay, this is an interesting.
It can be a long answer.
No, I'll tell you how. So for me, I'll tell you how I started. Maybe you'll find an answer because when you put me in the spot, even I don't have an exact answer.
Okay.
But I'll tell you how. So when Vijayendra Prasad got there, I started like, after my medicine is done, I came to him and I started working under him.
So medicine ekkada chesaru?
నేను విజయనగరం చేశానండి.
Okay,
It's called Maharaja Institute of Medical Sciences. I completed my medicine. So my mom did stick to her word అనమాట. చేశాడు కదా, సరే ఇప్పుడు వెళ్ళు. నువ్వు అక్కడ ఏం చేసినా చేయకపోయినా నీకు ఏదో డిగ్రీ ఉంటుంది.
Did you enjoy doing medicine?
Of course I did. It's good. I wrote many stories. Like, with all the cases, with all the diseases I've learned, I've written screenplays as well in the hospitals, in the rooms, in the classrooms and everything.
Okay.
So it was always there. Like, yeah, but I did take a very big route to come here. So it happened that way.
Okay.
So I started under Vijayendra Prasad Garu writing department. I've done many screenplays for him. It's a very good office for you to crash. It's like, it's just about storytelling, how it can be. And I think he's the best. So I've learned from him. So whenever I keep that's how it started. So even when I was doing my medicine, I used to come attend, when whatever stories he's been doing screenplays, I used to put a long leave. I used to go there, come to Hyderabad. Yeah, please go.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, please
How
go.
did you get in touch with Mr. Vijayendra Prasad?
Family friends, somewhere my parents, they are family friends. That's how I got in touch with him.
Yeah.
So akkadi nunchi I started my journey. So slowly I started writing the stories, and I started understanding screenplay better. And from there, the set experience was different. I worked for a few movies. So my last was I did a movie called Aditya Varma in Tamil, which is a remake of Arjun Reddy. So after that is done, I thought maybe it's time for me to start my own journey. So screenplays I've been writing from very long. So there's one such screenplay I thought I can pitch it. Ala vachi, the offer happened. I went to Vaira, I narrated it to them, and Nani garu heard it. He said we are doing it.
Okay.
So that's how it is.
Bullet points laga చెప్పేస్తున్నారు. Let me
elaborate ga cheppala.
Yeah, elaborate those bullet points into say 16 mark questions.
Yeah.
Speaking about your learning experience from Mr. Vijayendra Prasad, what was that like? When you said that you could understand screenplay better, what was that?
See, it's always about thoughts, kada. You always get thoughts. Chala thoughts vasta untayi. You don't know if it'll work or it'll not work. So this also is there in set fields, but I'm sure he never read it. But whenever I go tell him there's this thought, I keep explaining him itla and chepta unta. He's like, okay, what is your story? So that's exactly what I've been narrating you for how long? Half an hour, 40 minutes? What exactly you want to say? So that's like a question, I keep introspecting, what exactly is he asking? So all my fancy dialogues, all my visual sense, all the way I want to project this movie, that's not what the movie is about. It's about the soul of it. And he questions me on that.
Okay.
What is your soul? What exactly you want to say? Is that intact? That's how a movie runs. That's exactly when I learned, idantha theesesna you need to understand what your story is about. All the fancy dialogues, all the way you want to make it, the way you want to shoot it, the angles, everything. That is all the drama, or that is the the garnishing on top. But what exactly you're garnishing on? So that is exactly something which I've learned really. He's so on point, Avisham Gochasarke. So somewhere I did learn that from him, and that's exactly when I'm the way I looked at screenplays, the way I started writing is something different after I'm working under him.
Okay.
So yeah, I found out my own sense of how I can what exactly I want to say. Is it worth saying? Is it worth writing? And once that is done, how exactly I want to just project it. That followed later.
And I was going through your Instagram profile, and
You said you didn't do any research?
no, I mean I was.
Oh,
That's
maybe.
all. That's
Okay,
not
okay.
research,
Yeah,
right?
Chinna chinna.
Yeah. So, and I could see this one photo where you had posted a picture of all the filmmaking guidebooks. I'm not sure if you remember. You had
I
posted
do.
in 2017.
It's a blue checker shirt and a navy blue denim. Yeah, I know.
That one,
yeah.
where you could see, books. David Mamet on directing
Yeah,
film.
yeah, on directing
There was
film.
Robert Rodriguez.
Robert Rodriguez.
Rebel Without a Crew, and Walter Mertz in the Blink of an Eye. Were these all a part of your, because I couldn't go to film school, I'll try to get the film school to me.
Yeah, that's a phase, I'll tell you. I did learn a lot through the books. But yeah, I did learn. That's a phase of me where I started maybe I wasn't, our syllabus nak telidu. Maybe is this the way how filmmaking happens? Should I నేను ఇది నేర్చుకోపోతే ఇవి చదవకపోతే will I miss out something?
Academic part of
it. I told you, medicine is always about studying. So into books, I keep reading a lot. So I thought maybe I need to do the syllabus as well. So I've been collecting few books. I've been reading and stuff. So yeah, it did help me. But the practical knowledge, the real experience, అవేం గుర్తుండవండి ఆ టైంకి. All whatever I read about David Mamet or his classes or the set fields but somewhere Rebel Without a Crew is something which is more practical, that his experience of how he made his first film. Yeah, that is something which is preparing you for what the practicality is. That again, if now after becoming a director, I'll read those books, I'll have a different perspective.
Oh, wow.
But when I did read them then and what I'm doing now, it's completely two different things. But I did gain some knowledge, but practically it's very different. Okay. But I think I need to revisit it. I need to go read it once again.
I haven't read the book, but is it about El Mariachi?
Yeah, El Mariachi, yeah.
Okay,
I did watch.
Do you like it?
I do. The funny thing is, after reading the book, I watched the movie. Yeah, so that's exactly when I was more related. So if you ask me, అది బాగుందా బాలేదా అంటే my answer will be biased. బాగుందని అంటే ఎందుకంటే I was waiting for each and every page whatever he has written. I want to see, is this what he did behind the scenes? ఇట్లా జరుగుంటుంది కదా అట్లా జరుగుంటుంది.
ఆ రకంగా చూసుకుంటే who are some of your favorite filmmakers? I know that you can't point out say one or two బాగా ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ చేసిన filmmakers అంటే who would you say?
అందరికీ రాజమౌళి గారు ఉంటారు కదండి. యూ కాంట్ స్టార్ట్ అ లిస్ట్ వితౌట్ హిస్ నేమ్. దట్ బీయింగ్ తెలుగు ఇక్కడే మనం ఉండి సో తెలుగు సినిమాలు చూస్తూ ఇవన్నీ అంటే రాజమౌళి గారి పేరు చెప్పకుండా ఐ కాంట్ స్టార్ట్. రాజమౌళి గారి ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ ఎప్పుడు ఉంది, అందరి మీద ఉంటుంది. ఈవెన్ ఐఎమ్ వన్ పర్సన్, ద హోల్ జనరేషన్లో నాకు కూడా ఐ వాజ్ ఆల్వేస్ లుకింగ్ అప్ టు హిమ్. So I know this. So somewhere I also now coming, I'm a huge fan of Quentin Tarantino.
Okay.
Chala I'm a sucker for his movies and mata. Baga chusta unta. Then somewhere I liked Robert Rodriguez, not for El Mariachi or Desperado, but Alita: Battle Angel. I really I dig that stuff. I told you anime, this thing. It's a world created. So I even I am a huge fan of Ayanadi. Then who else? The list goes long.
You can,
and
please.
I like Guy Ritchie a lot. Guy Ritchie is someone I think I learned so much through his filmmaking. Maybe Hi Naanna has nothing to do with it, but it's just it comes out in different ways.
ఇప్పటిదాకా మీరు చెప్పిన
ఏ సినిమాకి Hi Naannaకి సంబంధం ఉండదండి. Hi Naannaకి సంబంధం ఉండదు. Hi Naanna, I'll tell you a funny part about Hi Naanna. Maybe I'll regret it later. So all my screenplays, this is the only tender, soft script I've got. And ఫస్ట్ సినిమా అనేది ఇప్పుడు నేను వెళ్ళి ఇంత యాక్షన్ ఇది అది బ్లడ్ గిడ్ ఇది అని చెప్తే ఎవడన్నా నాకు సినిమా ఇస్తాడా ఇవ్వడా, వీడు ఏం చేస్తాడు, వీడు తీయగలడా లేదా, వీడు నమ్మి ఇంత బడ్జెట్ పెడతారా లేదా, ఇన్ని డౌట్లు వేసుకొని ఇంకో ఆప్షన్ కూడా ఉండాలి కదా. సమ్మర్ ఎవరైనా నేను సినిమా చెప్తే ఇవ్వాలి అనేది. సో లెట్ మీ రైట్ అ స్టోరీ విచ్ ఇస్ ఓన్లీ ఆన్ ఎమోషన్స్. దెర్స్ నో బ్లడ్, దెర్స్ నథింగ్. I don't think we have a smoking card in our movie as well.
Lovely.
Yeah, so I thought let's make a movie on pure emotions, just emotions, nothing else. So that's how I started conceiving Hi Naanna. So like the commercial cinema or like the other cinema what I have, each and every screenplay, right? And the something like should excite me. Even for me to narrate it to someone, malli chappali anipichettappudu I want to see that high, like that generally happens in commercial cinema. We have that scope with fights and everything. But I wanted to adapt the same thing to a movie like this with just emotions, like all the turns and everything. And it did work, I guess. Ante cinema ochindi chestna ippudu interview kuchuna ante I think like it did work, and I'm sure like it will work on 7th December as well.
I will get to Hi Naanna, but before that, let me pick your
Yes,
brain
please.
a little more. Indaga annaru kada, everybody has that phase where you're trying to, any aspiring filmmaker, they're trying to get to, get the academic part right. They want to expose themselves to international cinema, consume, the classics, the Russian, the Sergei Einstein. ఆ ఫేజ్ మీకు కూడా ఉన్నిందా, లైక్ ఫిల్మ్ వ్యూయింగ్ పరంగా చూసుకుంటే?
I don't call it a phase, and I'm still living it.
Okay.
I can't say it's a phase because even now I do that. I've been like I've been doing that
Entire
as
life?
a kid, yeah, my entire life. So I don't call it a phase, I call it my life. Like exposure to this world cinema, like all, and irrespective of the languages, భాష ఇది లేకుండా ఇప్పుడు మన ఇండియాలోనే చూసుకుంటే తమిళ సినిమాలు కానీ, మలయాళం కానీ, హిందీ కానీ, ఫర్ దట్ మ్యాటర్ ఆఫ్ ఫ్యాక్ట్, like all the Western movies and all the movies they make in Turkey and like the European cinema, yeah, everything, like it's just the language that differs, right? So it's always there. I don't call it a phase. That film, like viewing and trying to get that exposure has always been part of my life. So I can't separate it. I can't call it a phase.
ఇంట్రెస్ట్తో చూడడం అనేది ఒకటి వేరే విషయం, అండ్ బట్ ప్యూర్లీ ఫ్రమ్ అన్ అకాడమిక్ పర్స్పెక్టివ్ కొంతమంది చూస్తారు కదా, లైక్
అట్లా లేదు అలా అది ఐ అండర్స్టాండ్ వేర్ యూర్ కమింగ్ ఫ్రమ్, బట్ అది లేదు. ఇట్స్ ఆల్వేస్ ఫన్. ఇట్స్ ఆల్వేస్ లైక్ సంథింగ్ లైక్ గివ్స్ యూ గూస్ బంప్స్, సంథింగ్ విచ్ మోటివేట్స్ యూ, విచ్ feels you like, okay, you're having a good life. I like I applaud like everything, whatever, anything like which reaches my heart, touches me, that's there. And I want to like make a movie like that. See, that's always there kada. మీ హార్ట్ ని ఏదైతే షేక్ చేసి వావ్ అని అనిపిస్తుందో, you want to recreate it. But it can be in that style or a different style. So అలా చూసుకుంటే ఎన్నో సినిమాలు, ఎన్నో మూమెంట్స్, so many like seconds or minutes of it inspired me, and so that's always been there. So అలా అని ఇది వీళ్ళు ఇందులోనే ఇందులోనే తీసుకోవాలి అనేది లేదు.
Right. But again, I find it curious that you are saying this because you have said that all the other scripts that you wrote are like probably this is the most tender one. ఆ మిగిలిన రాసుకున్న స్క్రిప్ట్స్లో కూడా యువర్ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్ ఇస్ టు గివ్ ది ఆడియన్స్ అన్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ ఆర్ మూవ్ దెమ్ ఏనా?
అంతే. That's exactly
the genre might differ.
Genre might be different. The genre might be definitely different. It can be like it can be a fantasy, it can be an action, it can be again it can come back to a drama. But whatever said, the goal is the same thing. It's for you to give them an experience. It can be like something which is very warm, something which is like something very gruesome. అది ఉండాలి కదా. So that's exactly when you don't forget a movie. I think that's how it is. ఉండాలి ఏదో something should like you should have something to take away back home, some warmth or some like some kind of emotion, some impact, impact. And yeah.
Hey, what?
Nothing. Nothing. Leave it. So ante pakka.
Okay. And now coming to Hi Naanna, you said that part of it can be konja reverse engineered. In the sense, something that will be accepted, something that will get funded I'm not saying that you wrote the script just to make your debut ani kaadu, something that is palatable, just because your other scripts are way too heavy on violence and the scale might differ.
Not even violence, the scale of it, and like the scale of it for someone to trust on a debutant. It's my conscious decision. And ala cheyaro ani kaadu. Definitely, people will definitely trust like the debutants with so much. Nani garu did that with Dasara, Srikar kuda ade chesaru. The scale of it is like really huge. Dasara scale anta kuda.
It is massive.
But somewhere I thought I do have subjects like that. So I wanted to make a subject which is very appealing and which is very like that it will happen for sure.
Okay.
So Hi Naanna falls into that category.
What was the seed for that? Not just this executability, but on an emotional level, what was the seed for?
It's just a thought again. Everything comes from a thought. So I had this a very nice thought in my head. So that's what I said. I conceived this nice thought and I thought, okay, ఇది చూడొచ్చా? I'll see where this will go. The soul of Hi Naanna first వచ్చింది. Like there's just one small scene, one small moment, which I want to see. Like, and I'm sure that will move audience. So అక్కడ నుంచి రివర్స్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ జరిగింది, మళ్ళీ ఫార్వర్డ్ వెళ్ళడం జరిగింది. సో దట్స్ హౌ ద సోల్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్ ఇస్ బోర్న్. And then I started putting, like, if you just call it like a skeleton, I started putting flesh, skin to it and everything. And finally, it is what it is.
Okay, that moment that you spoke about, that moment that instigated you to do this, was it like, I'm just curious, I might be completely wrong. అది క్లైమాక్స్ లేకపోతే ఇంటర్వెల్ లేకపోతే జస్ట్ ఒక స్టోరీ టెలింగ్ లో వచ్చే ఒక పాయింట్ లైక్ దాన్ని చుట్టూ మీరు ఎట్లా అల్లారు అని
నేను అది ఐ కాంట్ రివీల్ యూ దట్ బట్ ఐ టెల్ యూ దట్ పీపుల్ విల్ సే దట్ ద హోల్ థింగ్
ఓకే
ఇట్స్ బేస్డ్ ఆన్ ఇట్ అని సో దట్ ఇస్ ద నా చూసినప్పుడు మీకు ఐడియా వస్తుంది యు విల్ హావ్ ఇట్ యు విల్ డెఫినెట్లీ నో వాట్ ఐ యామ్ టాకింగ్ అబౌట్ రైట్
ఓకే ఈగర్ టు వాచ్ దట్ థాట్ నుంచి ఫైనల్ డ్రాఫ్ట్ అవ్వడానికి వాట్ వాస్ ద ప్రాసెస్ లైక్
That's a process, actually, I'll tell you, that is my favorite process. And like, writing a story, making a screenplay is a very interesting process. It's like, everything is at your disposal. It's in your brain, thoughts are free, ఖర్చక్కర్లేదు, మీరు ఏదైనా ఆలోచించవచ్చు, పెట్టచ్చు. లేదు అంటే అది ఏంటి, if I say a dinosaur is there, present in this, it is there. అది ఎలాగవుతుంది అనేది ప్రాక్టికాలిటీ అనేది పక్కన పడండి. But now you're like Brahma, like, creating characters, getting them out, all this. So somewhere I enjoy that process. And how long it is, you never know. Some you can crack it easily. Some it will take years. There is a screenplay which I've written. It's been like, some 6 years now.
Okay.
I know that it will work, but I'm not able to crack it completely. నాకు ఇంకా అది కంప్లీట్గా గ్రిప్ దొరకట్లేదు దాని మీద. సో అది ఇప్పుడు అవుతుంది అని కూడా నేను చెప్పలేను. ఇంకో 2-3 ఏళ్ళు పట్టొచ్చు, లేకపోతే ఈ రాత్రి నేను పడుకున్నప్పుడు ఏదో ఆలోచించుకుంటే ఇట్ మైట్ ట్రిగర్. సో యూ నెవర్ నో. ఇట్స్ ఇన్ ద ఈథర్. ఇట్ విల్ అకర్ టు యూ వెన్ ఇట్ షుడ్ అకర్ టు యూ. సో దట్స్ హౌ ద ప్రాసెస్. బట్ Hi Naanna, fortunately, I almost have the full skeleton of it. And it's easy. That's what we keep saying. మా డిస్కషన్లో సోల్లోని కష్టాలు లేకపోతే సీన్స్ ఈజీగా పడిపోతాయి అని. సో లేదు ఏదైనా జబ్బు ఉంది కథలో అని నమ్మితే అప్పుడు కష్టం అవుతుంది. వై ఇస్ ఇట్ నాట్ వర్కింగ్ వైజ్? బట్ సమ్వేర్ Hi Naanna వాజ్ వెరీ ఈజీ. సో ద ఎమోషన్స్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్, ద సోల్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్ ఇస్ ఇంటాక్ట్. సో నౌ the scenes and the screenplay of it fell really in place easily. But somewhere somewhere even I again thought, why is it so easy? So let me redo it. So there's a lot of hassle I did. No one told me to do it. But there's a lot of versions which I did saying, why can't this movie be like this? Why can't this movie be like this?
How much difference would be there between each version?
A lot of difference. The characters will be the same. No, the character's behavior will always be the same. The situations can be different.
Okay.
I'll tell you. ఎందుకంటే క్యారెక్టర్ అంతా మీరు see, when you stick to a character, you can't change that character radically. ఇట్లా మారిపోయింది, అట్లా మారిపోయింది. సడన్గా ఇంత సాఫ్ట్గా ఉన్న వాళ్ళు వెళ్ళి తాగుబోతు అయిపోలేడు. సో సిచ్యువేషన్ అనేది కానీ అక్కడ డిమాండ్ చేస్తే వాట్ విల్ దట్ క్యారెక్టర్ డూ? యూ ప్లేసింగ్ దిస్ క్యారెక్టర్ ఇన్ దట్ సిచ్యువేషన్ ఇస్ ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ వాట్ డిఫైన్స్ ద సీన్. సో దట్స్ వాట్ ఐ డిడ్. సో ఈ క్యారెక్టర్స్ నేను ఈ సిచ్యువేషన్స్ ఇస్తున్నాయి, ఇవి ఇలా బిహేవ్ చేస్తున్నాయి, నేను ఇవ్వా, నేను ఇంకోటి ఇస్తా, అప్పుడు ఏమవుతాయి? So that's how I started writing different versions of it.
Okay.
And finally I realized, no, what I written first is the right thing. So let me go back to it.
Really?
Yeah, to get there, you need to know all the pros and cons, no? So I thought, okay, inni cheskunna, this is the best. So let me do this.
So it's like destination okate untundi, you are just finding to
ways to arrive to that.
Navigate.
Ante.
Okay. So ఎన్ని drafts ఉంటాయి?
7 ఉన్నాయండి.
Okay. And the one that you logged is the first draft, huh?
The one that I logged is my first and the fourth. 70% of my first and 30% of my fourth.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the draft what shape was it when you pitched it to, say, the production house or Nani?
I almost have it. That's exactly the thing, no? So when you have everything, that's exactly when you overthink.
Okay.
So everything is happening really easy. Everyone are like, is there something better I can do? There's no limitation for it. There's always a room for betterment. Till a shot is done, you can keep improvising it. Somewhere I always like, fall into that category where what else can I do? What else can I do? So there's no stopping like to that anamata. So a shot padnappude daniki end. Padipindi. Now it's history. There's nothing you can do about it.
So after canning the shot on.
After canning the shot is exactly when I stopped thinking about it. Ayipindi. Even if I think I can't do anything about it, it's history. It's done.
Okay. And how personal is the writing process to you, or is it just you sitting in a room and writing, or do you keep?
No. I know. I have a team. Like I have my friends and that. I don't want to call them a team. My colleagues, my friends. Like I have just 2 guys with me. Like I bounce my ideas. అంటే కూర్చొని గోడతో మాట్లాడుకోలేము. We can just only form it in my head. But that happens really good for me at times. Like when I sleep, when I wake up, the thoughts, the scenes and everything keep occurring. So నేను వెళ్ళి కూర్చోండి రా ఇప్పుడు చెప్తా అని చెప్పి I tell them. I just see the reaction. And these people who I trust completely, genuine reaction. బాగుందంటే బాలే అంటే they need not even say that. మొహం చూసి నాకు అర్థమైపోద్ది. But if it did work for me, వాళ్ళ ఫేస్లో కనపడిపోద్ది. చాలా బాగుంది ఇది. లేదు, if I had a doubt, to recheck I'll do that. Even they'll be like, they don't know what went wrong, but subconsciously you'll know. ఏదో సంథింగ్ ఇక్కడ గడబడి ఉంది అని. So that's exactly when no, this won't work. So let me go write something else.
Okay. We'll get to how Hi Naanna started to take shape, but దానికి ముందు, after your education and getting Hi Naanna off the ground, ఆ మధ్యలో how long was that phase, and how, I don't want to like pinch you and ask సినిమా కష్టాలు ఏంటి అలా అని కాదు.
లేదండి,
But what was that process?
I'll tell you, it's 7 years. It took me 7 years to get Hi Naanna. But in that 7 years, I think it's very less. I can spend another 7 years in learning cinema. I think there's always something for you to learn, and you'll never be ready. Adi kuda telusu. So I thought I need to get in. So this 7 years really helped me a lot. I see it's 7th.
December
7th, yeah. I just see that. So the 7 years really helped me a lot. I did evolve as a person. I've learned about cinema more, the screenwriting more, how to direct more. How can you convey or tell a scene in as many ways as possible, something which works for me. I found my own style. What exactly excites me, what doesn't. What excites you might not excite the audience. So somewhere I think I cracked a nice spot for myself where I know what I need to do. So yeah, definitely it took me 7 years. And kashtalu idi ani nenu annandi, because it's a part of your life. And somewhere I can't enjoy what I have now if I never been through that
journey.
The journey, yeah. And I'm really grateful for all the 7 years. And I did work a lot. I did slog, I did hustle, I did work really hard to get here.
So ఈ ట్రయల్స్ అనే ఒక ప్రాసెస్ ఉంటుంది కదా, వాట్ వాస్ దట్ ట్రయల్స్? అండ్ ఐ మీన్ I'm curious to know, like, how are you financially secure during that process? What were you doing? Would you just sit and write, like, was it a side hustle laga pitching stories?
I used to sit and write.
Okay.
And I never thought I need to pitch stories. I'm always preparing for myself. Pitching process ani వచ్చిన వెంటనే నేను స్టార్ట్ చేయలేదు. You need to prepare for an exam. Yeah, you can't just just because you got a thought or something. I mentally should be ready to do something. So that is the process I'm talking about.
Okay.
So the stories are నాకు ఎప్పుడో చాలా కథలు ఉన్నాయి ఎప్పుడు. I never pitched anything to anyone. So I think this is my, I pitched a story. This is my 3rd story. No, this is my 2nd. I pitched it to a producer. He liked it. I pitched it to an actor. He liked it. And the movie happened. Before this, just 1 month before, I pitched another screenplay. Again, I'm telling you, that doesn't fall into Hi Naanna category. It's again a different genre of cinema. Our cinema, everything is set for that as well. But Hi Naanna happened, early.
Okay.
So that's how it is. So, లేదండి ఎప్పుడు పిచ్ చేసింది లేదు. 2 కథలు చేసా, 2 అయ్యాయి. ఒకటి ఇట్స్ ఇన్ ద పైప్ లైన్. ఐ కాంట్ రివీల్ ఎనీథింగ్ అబౌట్ ఇట్ బికాస్ ఐ డెంట్ ఈవెన్ థింక్ అబౌట్ ఇట్. అది ఎప్పుడైతే ఇది స్టార్ట్ అయిపోయిందో దట్స్ గాన్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ మై హెడ్. సో వన్స్ అగైన్ దిస్ ఇస్ డన్, ఐ అగైన్ నీడ్ టు రీచెక్ అది చెయ్యాలా లేదా వాట్ ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ ఇట్ వాస్.
Okay. And speaking of pitching Hi Naanna to the producer, were these the first people that you pitched to, or did you have to go through that journey where you go through rejections and you understand
Yeah,
that.
I did go through that process. I don't want to talk about it because I'm happy. I'm counting my blessings. I'm happy for what I had. But ఈ కథ నేను ఫస్ట్ చెప్పింది ఈ ప్రొడ్యూసర్స్కే అయింది కూడా వాళ్ళతోటే. In the just single sitting, it's done. But the other story, because of the budget issues, yeah, I did pitch to a few other people.
What is a good pitch according to you?
Can you be a little more elaborate?
Like, what is a good pitch? I mean, like, people have pitch decks. When they approach a film, when they approach a production house or an actor, they have these things called pitch decks, right? Where they have a slideshow explaining the look and feel of the film and the budget and all the logistics that would be basically giving a run through of the entire project.
Yeah, I understand. You're talking about a pitch deck, like what we.
Sometimes it can be a narration, right? Not everybody.
So that's exactly what I wanna tell you. So there's no pitch deck for me. I'm a little old school in other vision. No, I don't even go and tell a story like open jaste ane. Ade undadandi. I'll just tell you a story. I'll not tell you my screenplay also. I'll tell you a story. That's exactly the whole agenda. I don't want to tell you my shots. ఇప్పుడు కార్ ఇలా వస్తుంది అలా చేస్తుంది. No, that's not my cup of tea. I just go and I'll tell a story. So once you like it, I'll make a screenplay and I'll tell you how I'll make this movie. So that's how it is. That's how I want to even restrict myself to. So it's always about a story. I believe in it. So నేను వెళ్ళి ఏం చెప్పేటప్పుడు కూడా I don't talk about budgets. I don't talk about anything extra. Because ఇవన్నీ secondary things. The story is something which is very primary. నేను వెళ్ళి కథ చెప్పడానికి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు కథే చెప్తా. సో అక్కడ ఏ టెక్నికల్ టర్మ్స్ కూడా ఉండవు. ఐ మేక్ ష్యూర్ ఐ డోంట్ గెట్ ఇన్ టు అప్పుడు ఆ కార్ అలా వస్తే అలా వాడిని ఓపెన్ చేస్తే ఇప్పుడు కట్ చేస్తే అవి ఉండవండి. జనరల్లీ చందమామ కథలు ఎలా చదువుకుంటా అలాగే ఐ టెల్ అ స్టోరీ. దట్స్ హౌ ఇట్ ఇస్.
It's the vibe that you are communicating.
Exactly. That's how I learned and that's what I believe in and that's exactly what I'll say.
How was the narration experience to Nani like?
It's good. It's really good. So I just went, I narrated it to him. I said, ikkada break andi. So I can understand that he's happy. So ఆయన వెంటనే బ్రేక్ అంటే నీకు బ్రేక్ కావాలా మీకు కావాలా అండి లేదు కంటిన్యూ చేశా. I said the second half అయిపోయింది. Finally I said, oh, is this it? I said, yeah. He said, it's very nice. It's a very nice story. I said, yeah, thank you. So then we started talking about, so who do you think the DOP could be? Who do you think the music director could be? Or the actress could be? Or all the technical aspects of a movie. So atla jarigindi. But it's very cool for you to go narrate it to him. He is not very expressive. But if you need to read him అంటే కొంచెం కష్టపడాలి చదవడానికి ఆయన్ని. You don't know if he's liking it or not. But with the questions he's posing, I understood, okay, he liked it అని చెప్పి.
Okay. And see, there was this very ఏమంటారు, this story about RGV and Vivek Oberoi, right? Company appudu RGV Vivek.
I've heard
yeah. So alanti oka myth was like when Srikant Odela narrated the script to Nani gave him some money and go with his own money he asked him to go make a trial shoot and if I like the footage maybe I'll give you a chance. So that's like ఈ మధ్య వచ్చిన కాలంలో it's like a urban cool story laga anamata. So that is when people started also liking that, oh, Nani is still betting on new director, he's still taking chances. Did you have to go through something like that? I'm just curious.
No,
he just liked the story and
yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's it. He only asked me for complete screenplay. You just write it and give it to me in a written format. I'm very happy about it because I want to do it for myself as well. So I said, yes, sir, I'll do it. From the opening, the scene, from the first shot to the last, I just gave it to him. In 2 months process, I just wrote the whole screenplay. And I said, this is the movie we are making. So he read it and he said, we are doing this. Let's just go ahead. నాకు అట్లా అంటే అది నాకు జరగలేదు. ఐ విష్ మేబీ దట్స్ డిఫరెంట్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్. నో ఐ గెస్ ఐ డోంట్ నో.
ఓకే. అండ్ స్క్రిప్ట్ని మీరు ఎంత డీటెయిల్స్తో నింపుతారు?
చాలా డీటెయిల్స్తో నింపుతా. అంటే చాలా అంటే నాకు ఎలా చెప్పాలో కూడా తెలియట్లేదు. ఐ టేక్ కేర్ ఆఫ్ ద డీటెయిలింగ్ అ లాట్. అండ్ ఇట్స్ నాట్ ఫర్ ద పీపుల్. అంటే వెన్ యూర్ రిలీజింగ్ అ మూవీ ఫర్ ద వరల్డ్ ఐల్ సే నౌ. అంటే ఇట్స్ నాట్ జస్ట్ అబౌట్ తెలుగు. ఎవరో ఎక్కడి నుంచో చూస్తారు. సమ్మన్ ఫ్రమ్ సమ్మన్ హూ స్క్రోల్స్ నెట్ఫ్లిక్స్ ఆర్ అమెజాన్ వాంట్స్ టు వాచ్ సంథింగ్. సో యూ నెవర్ నో హూ వాచెస్ ఇట్. సో ఐ మేక్ షూర్ ఇంతమందిలో ఎవరో ఒకరు కనిపెట్టచ్చు ఎక్కడో దగ్గర ఇఫ్ సంథింగ్ గోస్ రాంగ్. But it should never be about that. It's about me, 10 ఏళ్ళ తర్వాత సినిమా చూసినప్పుడు I shouldn't feel cringe. So that is exactly my personal vendetta. లేదు, లెట్ మిగతా వాళ్ళని పక్కన పెట్టి ఫస్ట్ ఒక 10 ఏళ్ళ తర్వాత చూసుకున్న తర్వాత నీకు మొన్నే తీసారేమో సినిమా అనిపించాలి. సో లెట్ అస్ గెట్ దోస్ డీటెయిలింగ్స్ రైట్, లెట్ అస్ గెట్ దోస్ థింగ్స్ రైట్. అండ్ అఫ్ కోర్స్ ఎవరైనా బయట జనాలు చూసేవాళ్ళు కూడా దే విల్ పాయింట్ అవుట్ ఇఫ్ సంథింగ్ గోస్ రాంగ్. సో it's like a win-win situation. If you care about it, the more, the better it is అనేది. So yeah, I do take care of the detailing a lot. I like the process as well.
Okay. And as you moved from the writing stage to actual production, how was that transition like? As you had being the director, you had to pick, you know, heads of departments, right? Like Hisham will do the music. You have to, and you had to assemble a team. You had to bring them onto the same page. I'm sure you had to assemble your own team, right? Your directorial team, you know, assigning them tasks.
My department as well,
yeah. How was the entire process of putting together a team like?
I'm still learning, and I can tell you that I'm still learning. You never know. See, it's about 100 different people ఒక ఇంటి కిందకు వచ్చి ఒకటి చేయాలనుకోవాలి అంతే, రైట్? బట్ ద మైండ్ సెట్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎవ్రీ వన్ ఇస్ కంప్లీట్లీ డిఫరెంట్. But one thing common is cinema. Like, you know, cinema, like, everyone has an opinion, everyone has something to offer, everyone has a different take or perspective on it. So my job is to, like, you know, make sure we all are in a one alignment, Loni, how we are moving forward. And that's exactly the job description of a director, if you ask me, technically speaking. So some might work, some might not work. It's always a learning experience. I can't say I can't fix a template. దీనికి ఇది అల్టిమేటం ఏం కాదు, అది మారుతూ ఉంటుంది. అండ్ ఈవెన్ ఐ ఇవాల్వ్ యాజ్ అ పర్సన్, ఐ అబ్జర్వ్ బెటర్, ఐ అబ్జర్వ్ థింగ్స్ బెటర్, అండ్ ఐ విల్ ఆల్సో ఇవాల్వ్ బెటర్, అండ్ నా పర్స్పెక్టివ్ విల్ చేంజ్. బట్ ఫర్ Hi Naanna, ఎవ్రీథింగ్ లైక్, you know, I'm not saying, like, you know, it's very smooth. Again, for a debut director, it's never like, you know, you are like, you know, now you sitting in the chair.
Yeah.
It's different. Like, you need to assemble your whole team. Na team, I need to get to know them. ఎందుకంటే I can't, like, you know, I can't ask all my colleagues to come work under me. They are also in their own trials and stuff. So I started all the new people. Shanu Gartoti, it's my first. And I just love that guy. He's a master class altogether. And Hisham Gartoti kuda, ఆయన అన్ని మూవీస్ ఓల్డ్ కాదు. ఇట్స్ హిస్ తెలుగులోనైతే అది మూడోది, ఆయన మామూలుగా అయితే దాని ముందు ఇంకా 3 చేశారేమో. సో ఈవెన్ ఆయనతోటి పనిచేయడం కూడా ఇట్స్ వండర్ఫుల్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్. సమ్వేర్ వి డిడ్ సింక్, ఎవ్రీ వన్, లైక్, you know, that's what I'm saying. Whatever the personal opinions of everything, we made sure that we are working for a common agenda, that is Hi Naanna. So that's somewhere, like, you know, the synchrony of the main technicians, everything, it fell into place. Avinash Kolla garto ana anukochu, everything. They know what they are dealing with. నాలాంటి వాళ్ళు చాలా మంది చూస్తుంటారు, నేను వాళ్ళు ఇప్పుడిప్పుడే చూస్తున్నాను కదా. సో, like, you know, Shanu worked with many debutant directors. Like 70% of his filmography, you check, he only worked with the debutants. So, but Naku, Shanu first time. So it's me who needs to still learn, because they work with so many people. So somewhere, like, you know, it fell into place. కొన్ని, like, difference of opinions, differences, అవి ఎప్పుడు ఉంటాయి, అది ఎవరికైనా ఉంటాయి తప్ప. So we need to get there ante. But somewhere we know what we are working for, and we made it through.
Okay.
Yeah.
So communication is everything.
Everything. Of course, communication is everything.
మీ మైండ్ లో ఉన్నది you have to
100%.
Was it ever too overwhelming at any point?
It has its pros and cons. It has its pros and cons. Yeah, at times it is overwhelming. But after, like, you know, when you ask me now, when I think of it, it doesn't matter. ఆ మూమెంట్కి, ఆ నిమిషానికి, it's overwhelming. But when I look back, it's not. Like, you know, maybe you're under a lot of pressure or stress. It will be like that. And as an assistant director, it was the same way for me, or my team, or anyone, for that matter of fact. అందరికీ అట్లానే ఉంది, అట్లానే ఉంటుంది అనుకుంటా, ఫర్ ఎనీ వన్. రాజమౌళి గారికి కూడా మీరు అడిగితే ఎప్పుడో దగ్గర ఇట్ విల్ బి అ లిటిల్ ఓవర్వెల్మింగ్ ఆల్వేస్. బట్ దట్ మూమెంట్, అది వన్స్ ఇట్ ఇస్, like, once you cross it, and once I look at the movie and everything, like,
okay,
I don't even remember that faintly.
Okay. And I really like that you're being very clear about, you know, I want to tell a story. I don't want to assemble a project. This is a story that I want to tell. And everybody on your team, they are helping you bring your vision to onto the
life,
screen.
Yeah.
Communicate that vision from you to maybe say a very very wide audience. A process low, you have to go through cinematography, cinematography in the sense visual choices, and then editing, and then music, and then sound, right? First process we'll go with, how did you log the visual palette of the film?
So yeah, okay, let me start from this. So I was hunting, DOPs ever bontaru, who can be the cinematographer of this.
1 second.
Yeah.
DOP hunt chese munde meeku mind lo
look and feel undi kada. Adi story thote vastadandi. Once when I look at the whole scene, when I compose it, when I write it, with the action itself, I know, what is, where they are standing, what's happening, when. అది ఎట్లా కనపడాలి, ఎమోషన్ ఎట్లా ఉండాలి, అదంతా మీకు పడతా ఉంటుంది బ్రెయిన్లోని. అది అది పడతా ఉంటుంది దాంట్లోనే. అది ఆటో పైలట్ అది అనుకొని మీరు అనుకోవచ్చు ఆల్మోస్ట్. సో దాట్ ఈస్ దేర్. సో నా ఇప్పుడు నేను అనుకుంటుంది వాడికి పక్కోడికి కన్వే అయ్యి అది బయటకు వచ్చేలాగా నేను అనుకునేలా రావాలి అనే దగ్గరే కదా ద హోల్ హసల్. సో ఇప్పుడు ఆ వేట మొదలైంది, ఎవరిని పట్టుకుందాం, వీళ్ళని పట్టుకుందాం, వాళ్ళని పట్టుకుందాం అని. తర్వాత షాను గారు అనేది నాని గారు ఆప్షన్, నాది కాదు. సో సమ్వేర్ ఐ డెంట్ ఫాలో మచ్ ఆఫ్ షానూస్ వర్క్. సో నాని గారు అన్నారు షాను చాలా బాగుంటాడు ఈ కథకి అని. ఆయన 30వ సినిమా, నాకు మొదటి సినిమా. సో ఐ వాజ్ లైక్ షాను ఓకే. ఆయన అన్నాడు నువ్వు వెళ్ళి మీట్ అవ్వు, ఇఫ్ యూ లైక్ ద వైబ్, ఐఎమ్ షూర్ యూ బోత్ విల్ జెల్ వెరీ వెల్, యూ బోత్ విల్ నో ద వైబ్ వన్స్ యూ గో మీట్ ఎమ్ అని. సో ఐ సైడ్ ఓకే ఈయన అంటున్నారు కదా, ఫస్ట్ వెళ్ళి చూద్దాం. అప్పుడు దాకా నేను ఏవో పేర్లు అనుకున్నా, లైక్ దట్స్ వాట్ ఐమ్ సేయింగ్, ద ప్రాక్టికాలిటీ ఆఫ్ ఇట్ వాస్ డిఫరెంట్.
Somewhere drop few names?
No.
No. Okay. Go.
I don't want to drop any names. But I was thinking but I'm so happy that it wasn't the names I thought, and it's Shanu John Varghese. I'll tell you, he's a class apart, that guy is. I know. So he's so cool. Sorry? Yeah, he directed a movie as well. He directed a movie. He's trying to direct another movie, but dani munde edo oppuntaru. Even he only does a movie if he likes the script. He says that should money that comes secondary, but why am I doing this project is most important. So I just, eppadaithe Nani garu chepparu, that's exactly when I started observing Shanu's work. And munde em chesaru, Malayalamlo em chesaru. So I thought, okay, I can just give it a try. So I went and I met him. So I narrated the script to him. And then we had a banter. It's just about cinema. Like what exactly, how exactly it is, what exactly it is. How should we, not Hi Naanna. General cinema. Iddaru kurchoni, audience discussing about cinema. RRR chusara, anduloni idi enduku atla undi, aa shot enduku itla undi, lepothe adi chusara, adi enduku. It's just a normal chit chat. I know cinema chesaranta. He told me there's no music in that movie ani. I said then what exactly? The cam is the music. So the shake of the cam is exactly the music for the audience. I was like, what was this? He said, yeah, we tried to do something like that, and it's selected for some festival, some film festival, and he said he's going there and everything. It's just that is more important than my story. The how well we sync with each other. So that happened. And then, after the second narration, I only narrated him the first half. కొన్ని దీనివల్ల మా బ్యాంటర్ దీంట్లో ఫస్ట్ హాఫ్ నరేట్ చేస్తాను, తర్వాత మళ్ళీ సెకండ్ హాఫ్ ఐ నరేటెడ్ మన్ అదర్ డే. దెన్ వీ స్టార్టెడ్ టాకింగ్ అబౌట్ హై నాన్న. వాట్ ఈస్ ద ద లుక్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్, వాట్ ఈస్ ద ప్యాలే ఆఫ్ ఇట్, అండ్ వీ థాట్ లెట్స్ మేక్ ఇట్ what the story requires. That's exactly what he always sticks to, and even I stick to. కథకి ఎంత వరకు కాలి, you want some fancy shots, does the story require that? No. So let's not go with it. Let's stick to it, and let's make it ఇప్పుడు నాని గారు ముందు సినిమా దసరా ఉంది, నేను అన్నాను మొహం మీద ఒక చిన్న ఇది కూడా ఉండకూడదు. That's exactly how the character is. Someone who's who's doing good for himself, who has this who takes care of his health and everything, who's very good, maintains himself, and that's how the characters in the movie are mostly. So we thought, let's fix a palette like this. So let's do it like an ad film anukunnam. That's exactly what we discussed. I said it should look like an ad, because that's the space this movie is falling into.
Okay.
And that's exactly the story is also, it runs without any speed breakers or anything. So I said, this is the template. And then we thought, what kind of palette we are looking at? Let's get the pastels in. So there's a chunk in Goa. Everyone knows that the movie happened in Goa.
Yeah.
So Goa only, most of it will not be in our control. So till when we are shooting it in our sets or our locations and stuff, we are very much fine. We thought we can handle that. I mean, let's only get pastels because his life is like that. Something, when you shoot in Mumbai, we want it to be very concrete. So when we go back to Kunur, we want it to be very much colorful. Once you go to Goa, it's chaos. That's how even the narrative is, or the costume designers, everything we cracked this first, and then we started applying it. We thought it will work, and it did work brilliantly.
Okay.
We are happy about it, the way it worked. Watching it, we thought, okay, we did what we wanted to do. Super. Everything is falling in place.
Now, I have a question.
Yes,
okay,
please.
When you said that you wanted the film to look like an ad, see, there's nothing wrong with it. But I have a theory on an emotional level, advertisement is supposed to sell you a lifestyle, right? It's like the core idea of advertisement is that it all looks so glossy and so nice that we kind of aspire for that. It's kind of aspirational, that look, flawless people, glossy interiors, everything. But when you're trying to communicate an emotion, and since your story is entirely resting on a very, like you said, pure emotions, don't you think this perfect, absolutely gorgeous, perfect look, won't you think that will kind of create a distance between the viewer,
the reality and
yeah.
See, I'll tell you, you want to take a look, you will take a look. You want to take an emotion, you'll understand why it is happening in people who are like this. So that is the vibe of the movie. And there's nothing, when you watch Emily, did you watch Emily?
Yeah.
So when you look at it, it's about a very, a character which is very flawed. But the way they presented the movie is very nice. You watch Buffy, the way the movie looks, it's phenomenal. The way, it looks like an ad, if you ask me, Buffy. But did you relate to the characters or not? Did you relate to, how Ilyana is, how Priyanka is? Of course, they are, from, again, I'm saying, the background wise, it's different.
Yeah.
But the look of the movie is what I'm talking about. It should look like that. But the characters have their own flaws, own problems, own everything. I'm not saying everyone is from a well-to-do family here.
Okay.
The story is not like that. It's about if someone takes care of his health, if someone is very good with his diet and routine, he looks good. So that's exactly pretty much to it. Anta minchi ekva ledu takva ledu.
Okay.
So yeah, I think there's nothing wrong when we are falling into that space for a movie like this, because the movie requires it. And I'm talking about the look of it. I'm not talking about the characters or the emotions of it.
Right.
Yeah. So we thought it should look like this. The movie should look like this for a movie which is happening. So once, whatever I'm saying, once you watch the movie, the way it is designed like that, it'll make more sense to you.
Right.
Why I said what I said now.
Okay.
So that then you'll understand. When you go back to Kunur portions, whatever's happening, it breaks the whole pattern. అక్కడ ఉండేటప్పుడు అట్లా మిగతా చోట్లంతా ఇంకోలాగా అనేది. So it's a conscious decision what we took.
As we come closer, I want to know, I want you to recall what was going on in your head on the first day of the shoot and the last day of the shoot.
The first day of the shoot, I was like, I should get the shot right. The last day of the shoot, I should get the shot right.
Same.
It's the same. That's exactly what will run in your head. And when you're asking me, I'm thinking, last మొన్న తీసిన షాట్ కూడా ఇది కరెక్ట్ రావాలి, ఇది బాగా రావాలి. ఫస్ట్ షాట్కి అదే ఉంది, లాస్ట్ షాట్కి అదే ఉంది, మొత్తం సినిమా అంతా అదే ఉంది. దట్స్ ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ వాట్ you're working for, living for now. షాట్ బాగా రావాలి. That's the thought.
Okay. And since we are talking about, academic learning versus on-set experience, what is something, if you can recall, what was a challenge while filming, a logistical challenge or something that required your managerial skills? What was something that you are proud of for solving?
So there's not one instant at ఒకటని కాదు.
Yeah.
So many instances, you need to communicate properly so that everyone will be on the same page. But again, I'm telling you, everyone has their own perspective. Every individual has something to offer. Sometimes they might agree, they might not agree. So, whenever I'm not saying about artists, technicians, in general, I'm saying. So that's exactly when I think you need to go communicate why it is needed to be done in certain way.
Right.
So that you again get them back on your page. So that is something I think I'm good at. I keep telling them, explaining them why it needs to be done like this, not like anything else. So they'll be like, yeah, I think it is right. It's always about a creative discussion. At times, even I'm right, or at times the other person is right. We never know. So it's always about listening and trying to understand and getting it out there. So I think this is pretty much my answer. I don't want to get into much more details of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All the very best for the film.
Thank you so much.
You are extremely confident. It's a very good sign.
That was it. Okay.
Yeah, it is. Looking forward to watch the film on December 7th. What's happening in the film? Is it done?
Yeah, we complete the movie. We log the edit. ఇప్పుడు re-recording అవుతుంది. As of now, it's happening. It's coming out good. We are enjoying the process. That's all I can say. We are enjoying how it is shaping out, how the music is elevating things and stuff.
Is the pressure of box office seeping in slowly as you inch closer towards the release?
I don't think so. I'll tell you something. ఒక్కసారి ఇది అని ఫిక్స్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత యూ కాంట్ dwell in it.
అంటే ఇది అర్థం కదా.
అంటే if we have a release, we have a release on 7th December. So the box office wise, you never know what it will be అనేది. That's never in your hands. Once it is locked, it's always about putting the cinema out. And the numbers and everything, it's never in your hands. Whatever the film will get, it will get. So I think I put it there, I rested there. That means I don't want to take that. And I'm confident that it will do well. I'm hopeful that it will do well. So that's all I can say.
Final question, pakka final question. What is that one feeling that you want to communicate to the audience with Hi Naanna?
I want to tell them about family. I want to tell them about love. I want to tell them about children. I want to tell them about how, the system of marriage, the differences in opinions, and yet how will certain people find a way, and how will how will you react to certain things? It will result in certain other things. So the way you react to it, the way you react to a situation will definitely change the course of events. So I just it's a story about a character and how life happened to him. What exactly he went through, ఎలా జరిగింది, how it is happening to him, how he's suffering, how he's making it out, how he's being out there and doing whatever needs to be done best, and the flaws he did, the mistakes he's done. I'm not saying it's a very good characters. Every character has a flaw, but how did they overcome it is exactly what Hi Naanna is about. It talks about a family. It's a very personal story. It talks about marriages, it talks about kids, it talks about family, it talks about love, it talks about all the emotions which happens in a normal life. So I think that is something people should take away from Hi Naanna. And there is an optimism to it as well.
I love those kind of films.
Yeah.
Superb. I'm looking forward to watching the film in a theatre on the big screen.
Please
There's
do.
this notion that only big screen లో పెద్ద సినిమాలో లేకపోతే స్పెక్టాకిల్స్ మాత్రమే చూడాలని. I think
You are
every
true.
film, especially these things, pleasant, I want to experience it on the big screen.
Yeah.
You look very confident. All the very best.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, team. Thank you.